Hello, everybody. Dennis Prager here. So, I have an interesting question for you by way of introducing my guest. Who was the most destructive president of the last 100 years? Or perhaps in American history, putting Andrew Johnson aside, who really did a lot of damage to the country. But so that's why I was saying in over 100 years, in the last 100, let's say 50 years. So there's no question that Joe Biden, in my mind, no question is not proper because I'm about to offer an opinion. Joe Biden, I believe, is the worst human being to be president. I consider him a pathological liar as opposed to an occasional liar. And I consider him to work against the interests of the United States on a daily basis. But there are those who believe that he is the inheritor of the Obama legacy. And people don't talk about that very often, but there is a new book out, Barack Obama's True Legacy, How He Transformed America. The editor of the book, because it's an easy read, not emotionally, but it's an easy read because it's a series of little essays, as it were. Obama, the Marxist origins and goals of Obamacare, Muslim Brotherhood's penetration of the U.S. under Obama, how Obama enabled the persecution of Christians, Obama's betrayal of Israel, how, Benghazi betrayal and the Brotherhood link, Obama's Russia collusion, and so on. And it's a very, very serious indictment by a lot of very serious thinkers. The editor of the book is Jamie Glazov. Jamie Glazov is editor at Front Page Mag, one of the most important of the conservative websites in the country. The book is up at DennisPrager.com, Barack Obama's True Legacy. So, Jamie, welcome to the show, of course. You can watch this, by the way, folks, if you want, at the Salem News Channel. So, Jamie, what prompted you to edit this book?
What a privilege and honor it is to be here, Dennis. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, there's a lot of things. I think one of the things I would say is that my dad and mom were dissidents in the Soviet Union, and they stood up against the Soviet Empire. And that takes about 2 hours to talk about. But the short version is we were able to escape. We ended up in America, a country that I love very much. And we left the Soviet Union. We escaped the Soviet Union. And slowly but surely, the Soviet Union came to us. And I remember just watching Barack Obama and what the Bolsheviks had done in my country, the way the Bolshevik Revolution had occurred, the way that Bolsheviks come to power, their ideas, their rhetoric. This is everything that Obama engaged in, continues to engage in. And it's very frightening. And I wanted to make sure that this is not forgotten. And I think that today, Dennis, it's more relevant than ever. Where do we even begin? What we see happening with the indictment of Trump today, did this just appear out of thin air? Let's look back to Obama's war on General Flynn, which Joseph Klein documents in our book. Barack Obama planted the seeds. He fertilized the soil to all of the destruction that we see today. And it's very important to talk about that, to see it clearly, everything we see today. And very, very scary time. You know, I often think about Fyodor Karamazov and Brothers Karamazov and what Dostoevsky, that incredible novel he wrote. But when Fyodor Karamazov was killed, there was a certain individual that had killed him, but there was another individual that had come up with the idea and had put it into the murderer's mind, and he had built the infrastructure for that murder. And I think it's important to think about those things because there's people who carry things out, and then there are people who fertilize the soil and put the ideas into people's heads.
You know, for those who wonder whether this is a valid thesis or not, I would ask them a question. It just occurred to me as you were speaking. I'd like to ask people, can you name one thing that Joe Biden has done with which Barack Obama would differ? Is that a fair question? Because if you can't name one, it's obvious that he is sort of the protege of Barack Obama. So while your book is on Obama, just a Biden question. Do you believe that Biden is the child or the product of Barack Obama, or is an independent nihilist?
Well, I think it's the first one for sure. Sometimes there's a combination of both, but it is such a surreal, dark comedy that we're observing right now. I mean, just even to look at Biden and to think that this guy who talks about, oh, I'm going to get in trouble. I don't think I'm allowed to say this. Like, those are symbols of what's going on. And definitely there's somebody pulling a lot of the strings. And if you look at every single policy, let's even, off the top of my head, let's begin even with Israel. Who is it that put so much money into the hands of Palestinian terrorists? Who is it that betrayed Israel? Who is it that unleashed the Muslim Brotherhood? And then the Muslim Brotherhood, of course, strengthens and enables Hamas. And who does Hamas kill? All of the, this is just one realm here, but a very sacred realm, because the enemies of Israel are the enemies of America. And who made this Iran deal possible? Who enabled the mullahs in Iran? Look at everything that Biden is doing. It's exactly the same thing. And Dennis, you're absolutely right. Can we even think of one thing where Biden says, oh, that was a mistake that Obama did? I'm going to turn course on that. So in many respects, this is Obama's third term. They were panicking when when Trump came in. Obama and the left were panicking that Trump was going to overturn all of the Bolshevik things that Obama had succeeded in perpetrating. And now Biden is back. The third term is back. And they're continuing what I see as this Bolshevik revolution in America.
Is one of the chapters, or do you personally have an analysis? Because I always ask the question, why? What prompted a man raised by a white woman? The black father abandoned him. The white mother raised him. He is biracial. What prompts his distaste for this country?
What a question, Dennis. What is this? What gives life to the Marxist idea? What gives life to the leftist idea, to this hatred that's masked by humanitarianism? There's a lot in our book that talks about Obama's youth and his background. We've got, a great essay by Jeffrey Nyquist, for instance, on Obama's Russian collusion that talks about, some of the past of Obama. We've got another great essay that talks about his Marxist youth. We can psychoanalyze a lot of things, but there was definitely a Marxist background. And what I find very interesting, Robert Spencer mentions this in the book, that in 2008, during the campaign, Obama very ostentatiously comes off the airplane. He's walking, and he's got this book in his hand by Fareed Zakaria, The Post-American World. And he's got his finger in the book, just not to lose his place. These individuals, everything is calculated. Everything is done for show. Just like the Illuminati, it's very important for them to give their signals to each other. And that was the culmination of Obama's youth, of his training, of how he was raised.
That does answer it. You're right. Yep, that's right.
But I will say also very quickly, Dr. Daniel Pipes has documented his Muslim childhood and youth. I'm not even saying anything's wrong with that. Just saying that's documented. Then all of a sudden he's some kind of a Christian at Jeremiah Wright's church.
Hmm.
We have to
We
ask,
forget that.
when was the conversion moment? Why has that never been asked? Hey,
All right.
you've got this spiritual
Jamie,
journey.
let me tell everybody, because they should get your book. Folks, this is an important book. I'm proud to have given one of the blurbs. Barack Obama's True Legacy, How He Transformed America. It's up at DennisPrager.com. Jamie Glazov and Front Page Magazine. God bless you both.
Thank you so much.
Yes, it's an honor, indeed. ReliefFactor.com, 800-500-8384. Relief Factor is a little packet of 4 tablets, 100% drug-free. Its purpose is to relieve joint and muscle pain. How effective is it? Read the testimonials at Front Page Mag. Read the testimonials at ReliefFactor.com. But here's the best. Try it for 3 weeks. If it doesn't work in 3 weeks, cancel your order. That's the suggestion of the makers of the product. That's how fast it works, or it won't work. It works for most people, literally most, about 60% reorder. ReliefFactor.com, 800-500-8384.